Record to the cloud. All right. Well, hello and welcome everyone. We are zooming into 2020. It is Monday, January 27th. So this is one of a series of Zooms that we have had throughout the month of January for our team, just kicking things off. You know, all of us made the decision to become a Lavelle brand promoter with a free click of a button, typically because we fell in love with the Thrive experience first, or some of us just flat out ordered as a promoter first, because there was no risk involved in that. And we have a free business opportunity that we're able to benefit from just by sharing a love for what we have found and helping people feel like $1 million bucks. So that's where it all began. But we are literally coming off of an incredible Super Saturday weekend that we had in the Michigan, Ohio, Detroit, Toledo area. So much fun over the weekend. And, you know, I talk to you guys all the time. And of course, I have a zillion things to say. But I really want you guys to hear from some of the people that were in the room, just some of the things that they personally experienced. There were literally, I can't even tell you how many conversations that I had with people that have been with us for, you know, maybe they were brand new, but they just needed, you know, that confidence to run. Or they were people that have been with us for a really long time, even gone to the top rank of the company, but they're like, oh my gosh, like this is exactly what I needed. And it's just kind of one of those things. I mean, we have to refresh and renew every day. And I think that that's what's so important is all of us need reminders as to what we do, why we do it. And so often we can get caught up in the how we do it that it actually takes us away, Sandra, I see you shaking your head, from just doing, you know, because every single one of us, our lives have been impacted in a positive way because of those 3 simple steps. And every single one of us know that we are so grateful for this company that says, hey, we will reward the heck out of you for sharing what this product has done. If you will, we use you guys to be that word of mouth advertisement, right? And here we are attached to this multi-billion-dollar global brand that rewards us on a weekly basis. So Heather, I'm going to go over to you first because I know, and guys, I don't even have everybody's names written down that I asked to hop on. Or even if I haven't talked to you yet about sharing some things, you are more than welcome to unmute and share your golden nuggets. Let's just make sure that we're not talking over each other, and use your mute button so I don't have to do it each time. But Heather, if you were on, I want to send it over to you first. I know you've got to kind of hop on and hop off.
Okay, yes, holy cow, y'all. I have so many pages of notes. It was just incredible. I've only been doing this for a year now, and this weekend, I mean, I'm just so excited. I don't even know where to start. But Mauria, I think you really, just what you just said, what we do and why we do it. I get emotional thinking about that because that's so true. That's what it all boils down to. This weekend, just overload. First, I just want to thank you guys for doing it. Haas, Sydney, Courtney, everybody that pulled this off. It was just amazing. One of the big things that stuck out to me was social media. You know, this weekend I lost myself. I mean, my cell phone went out and all I had was an old iPad from my kids that I took on this trip. And so I couldn't text, I couldn't call, and social media really stuck out to me because that was something that I could do. There was no excuses. Branding yourself. Be you. Don't be fake. People know cheesy, you know, and be you. Share your story. Let people know that you're a thriver. I mean, one of the easiest ways you can do it is, you know, wearing your sticker. So people will ask, you know, but don't be spammy, share and just be consistent and give value for what you're doing. I try to post 3 times a day. I don't post thrive. I don't advertise. I show my life. I show what I'm doing. You know, we're actually this afternoon getting cows into a trailer. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to have my sticker. I'm full of energy. You know, that's my life. People see that. They're drawn to that. I post things about my kids. Everybody loves that. So just social media is amazing. Utilize it. And then going over to about your team, helping your team. Don't rely on your team. You know, you have to model what you do for them. You know, I loved what somebody, I don't remember who said it, but quit following and picking up ice from people. That just really stuck out in my head. You know, there was so much. The time management, you can't put a value on something you've never experienced. Jay-Z shouted that one, and that really is on my vision board now.
And tell them, well, that was an answer to, we allowed the audience to ask a lot of questions, and that was the answer, that was her response to, what do you say when they say it's too expensive? And she said, you can't put a value on something that you've never experienced. How good is that?
That was golden. And something that somebody used an example is, you know, some people say, how do I share this? How do I share this? Well, everybody remembers when that unicorn Starbucks came out. I mean, I was telling everybody about it. Try the unicorn Starbucks, try the unicorn Starbucks. You know, that's $6. I mean, but that's just kind of how it is. You're going to share what this is doing for you. And so I use that example. If something comes out like, you know, unicorn Starbucks, people share it. So that's kind of where you're at right now. Ignorance on fire. That was something that someone said. Just even though I've been in it a year, there's still so much I don't know and I'm learning, but it's just ignorance on fire. I have to give a quick example, and I know a lot of people want to share, but I kind of witnessed this firsthand sitting at a table with a bunch of Thrivers. Haas had talked to the waitress for a few minutes. She said she drank energy drinks. I got up and went to the bathroom because I just had to go to the bathroom. I came back, and there he was handing her a sample pack. She was super excited. And I mean, I walked away with that going, you know what? I always need product available, because you never know when somebody's going to open up and, you know, say I'm exhausted, or I've got to work a split, or, you know, all day shift or whatever. And he just, right then and there, she filled out her customer account. He plopped his cell phone out. Of course, that's Haas. He's, but I mean, that's just the way it is.
So why can't that be all of us? We all have the ability to do that. Everything is individually wrapped. Real quickly, I do need to interrupt. Haas was scheduled today. His mom had surgery today. Everything went very well. So Haas is actually going to be on tomorrow night at 8:30 with us. Just wanted to let you guys know that. So we'll hear from him tomorrow night. But okay, thank you, Heather. I'm actually going to go over Sandra. I know you had some things that you wanted to share.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. You know, some of the things that Heather shared, I mean, I thought there was going to be a mic drop when Jennifer said that about, you know, you can't put a value on something you've never experienced. It was like, boing, okay. That just hit us all really, really in the face, like, oh my gosh. One of the biggest things for me was get to the objection. I've always been afraid of what their objection is, that I wouldn't be able to overcome what their objection is. Well, hello, that's where your upline comes into play. And you can't help them until you get to what the objection is. And so Sister here is no longer going to be afraid of what their stinging objection is. And passion to action. Your professional development, personal development is important, but you know what? Don't get stuck in schooling. You've got to put the action with what you're learning. You can sit here and you can learn all day long, but unless you're doing something about it, you're still going to stay stuck in the same spot.
Let's expand on that for just a second. So guys, that is something that I think that is so important. You can be hopping on every single Zoom that we have had the month of January. You may be catching all the replays on YouTube, but here's the bottom line. If you haven't shared your story with someone that is not yet thriving, you're not going to make progress. If you haven't, you know, plugged someone else into someone else's story. Tonight at 8:30, we have a Thrive Experience call where we're going to be interviewing stories. And that's something that Paul actually challenged us to do, is 2 Thrive Experience calls a week for the next 8 weeks. I see Starla on here, Dustin. Guys, this is how we built our business. Yep. This is how we didn't have Facebook Live. We did not have Zoom. We had conference calls, and conference lines were free, and they still are today. So I'll be honest, I actually went in and on my way to Detroit, I flew into Detroit, but I created a new conference call HD line because I had the old school line, and I think I could do a little bit more with the new HD one as far as recordings, because not only am I going to be interviewing Thrive Experience stories, but if they, you know, we want them on a live call, but we also want recordings of those calls so we can get those out to their friends so they they can use that. And see, they are on we've got brand new Thrive Experience stories, people in their first 2 weeks. It's so fun. They're all so nervous. It's fun. Anyway, but see, they're going to share tonight, but then someone that can't hop on because they're watching their kid play a basketball game or something, guess what? They can send them that recording and they're going to hear their story, but then they're going to hear these two strangers' stories, see, that are still in their first 2 weeks. So as far as passion to action, this is something that is very, very, very important for you guys, is that you can, again, we can hop on all these Zooms, we can train, we can learn, but unless we act upon, and bottom line is our action around here is exposure to the Thrive experience. That is our number one action. We have to, heck, I still get nervous. Somebody said 2 months in and still nervous. I still get nervous. But because I think our nervous is passion, because you can't truly articulate. So you're like, how the heck am I going to find the words that are short and sweet to really explain how this has impacted my life? So that's part of it. But again, it's all about exposure to the experience. So how can we expose people to the Thrive experience? All out massive action with that. That's how things grow. Okay, sorry, Sandra, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. And that was exactly my next point, was what Paul had challenged us all to with the the experience calls. And so Friday night before we went to sleep, I already had my experience call scheduled for tonight with the two ladies I was sharing my room with. They're in Toledo. If you want to be 200K, act like 200K. But let me preface that by saying there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. And if you're not sure which one is which, arrogance is insecurity. Kayla Fox has a Zoom that she goes into talking about confidence versus arrogance. Confidence is you're just confident with your own abilities. And if you're not, then you know what? You borrow from your upline. And that's when, you're always making sure you put people in three-way calls, three-way chats. And back to the basics. Go back to what got you where you were to begin with. And if you don't have the new free accounts coming in, Chassie talked about the blue people, 10 old, 10 new. And the blue people are when you scroll down and if your page is public, you're going to have these people that are going to like your posts that you've made, if you've given value. And so you scroll down to the very bottom and all those little blue people that say add friend, you're going to add those people. Those are your blue people. There was one more.
Okay, unless they're a Thriver. And I made that very clear in the room, and Dustin is going to agree with me here. Guys, the worst thing you can do is feel you're limited with your Facebook friends. You only get 5,000 Facebook friends. The worst thing you can do is fill up your friends list with Thrivers. Okay. And do not be offended if I unfriend you, team. I love you people, but guess what? Facebook has limited me to 5,000 friends. I am still going to reach more people. This is what I'm going to be doing for a long time. Okay. So I'm limited. So those of you, and make sure that people on your team don't do that. They don't all of a sudden come in and friend every stinking Thriver. So when you're doing that, who's old, who's new, go through there. If they are a Thriver, you don't send the friend request. Okay. You can always follow Thrivers, but not friend them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I'll finish this up because I don't want to take up anybody else's time, but that if you want to be 200K, act like it, commit to what you're doing. If you're committed to those reach outs, and we all loved when Mauria helped that lady with her reach outs and you brought her up on stage and said, let me have your phone. We were like ready to cheer as you did that for her. But the old version of you is gone. Keep moving forward. You're not going to get to be 200K by being scared or being scared of their objections. Get to the bottom of the objections and you can help them. And here's one last thought I want to leave with y'all. As you are helping that new person, do not ever doubt that, oh, well, I only have $25 in credits to send them. You know what? That $25 is huge. That $25 in credits was the difference in whether I could order July of 2015 or not. We had 2 college tuition payments due. We were shopping at Goodwill, people. I've left my teaching job after 26 years. Lavelle pays for my car. Y'all, crazy things can happen with $25 in credits. So don't ever discount what you're able to do for your customers because it could be the world.
Oh, and I'm muted. You just gave me chills with that. Okay, and yes, you can go next. Now I don't see your first name because you're on. Who was it that needed to go next? I know she's pulled over. She's on her way home. Just hit unmute. Where was that? We are not hearing you. If you.
Sorry, can you hear me now? It's Kathleen.
Yes. Hi.
Sorry. I just want to first say that everybody looks really great so far. And I didn't even get this message about maybe hopping on till I was 2 hours into my trip. So here I am. No makeup or anything, but
You look great. I'm no makeup, but my cheeks are red because I went for a run before.
Well, I really just felt it was important to talk. And the two people that have gone before me have already gone over a lot of things that are just really great. Then they said a lot of things I was going to say. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the consistency part of it and how that was stressed. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is very important to keep up with that. But also the feeling of family is just amazing when we all get together. I met with 2 of my friends that are from Ohio. I had just recently moved back to Pennsylvania, so I'm not really around a team of thrivers right now, so I have a lot of work to do here. So we got together that night. Friday was the social. It was amazing. There was a lot of energy. I just want to tell you that if you ever get to an event with Mauria or Paul or Drew, those were the only 3 that were there that day, you know, they come into the room and they come right into the room. They just start working and talking to people. And it's so refreshing to know and listen to their passion and listen to them, or they want to listen to you, you know. And so use your team, reach up if you need to, as far as you can, to get some of the answers that you may need. That was something that I needed to do. And find your extended family if you need to. But when you get to these trainings, they have so many nuggets to them. You really just are so energized when you leave. So if you ever have a chance to get to local, I just want to encourage people to get there and ask questions if you need to, reach up if you need to. And it's really going to change your life. I mean, at the part where they wanted to share their stories on Saturday, when you kind of said back out to the audience, you know, I'm always sharing my story. Why don't some of you share your story? When those people started standing up one by one and gave completely different stories about struggles, there's so many people in this world that we can touch and that we can help. And that's the whole idea of this. You know, it is for us to find the relationship, build the relationship, find out what these people need, and give them hope. I mean, that's what we're here for. It's all about paying it forward, and that's what we need to do. So I just kind of wanted to put that in there.
I love that. You know, and what she's talking about is this portion of the segment was on motivation. And I just said, I can't motivate you. But I said, I want you guys to take the mic and you tell me what motivates you. And so when she's saying their story, they weren't necessarily sharing their Thrive experience story. They were sharing why they do what they do. And see, the reality is that there is no one that can debate that. They know their story, they know their why. And that right there is the motivation. It's why you do what you do. But then of course I encourage them to dream, because I think some of us are blocking our blessings a little bit, thinking, oh, I can't want that, or I can't want that. That's not for me. No, it is for you. You use that why you do what you do, and you can make those things possible. I love that. I loved having the feedback from the audience. It was incredible. How much longer do you have on your drive?
Not long. I really thought I was going to make it home. I only have about 15 minutes.
Well, you be safe.
But it's been a long weekend.
Yes. Thank you so much for hopping.
Thank you. And I'm going to keep listening.
All right. Sounds good. Just be careful. All right, Krista.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I told Mauria this morning I'm at my little part-time gig, so most of my notes are at home, but can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry. I ran out to my car really quickly. So as I work my other little part-time gig, my notes are at home, like I was telling Mauria this morning, but it was so good for me. I missed Thrive Palooza last year for my why. My daughter is a senior this year, just turned 18, and it was her first prom, and I couldn't be there in person. So I felt very disconnected. So when this local came about, we were about 8 or 9 hours away. My partner in crime that's in my downline, who's always up for a road trip, we decided we were going to do it. We were going to make it happen. And, you know, everybody all weekend who kept saying commit and then figure it out. That's what we did. As soon as we saw Lisa go in and create the event, the Bright tickets, I had them. We didn't know anything else from there. We didn't, you know, and we just went. And sometimes those are the best trips to take. We got 15, 16 hours together in the car after, you know, before and after on how we're going to build up momentum from here. You know, we're on fire after leaving that. So many people on the panels I had seen before, and then so many I had not. And I think when you are not consistent, and I'll be the first to admit that's where I've been, and then you guys spoke on this, where do I start back in? Well, all the leaders before me have done that, been there, done that, and made it so much easier for the rest of us to just, you know, remind us we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. Mm-hmm. You know, tailor it to the way you speak or whatever, and you're able to just jump right back in. And, you know, now that the fire's lit, to just keep going, start that consistency, do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start building the momentum. What else was I going to say? When I agree, I really enjoyed hearing other people ask questions that maybe I hadn't thought of, and then what motivates them. I feel like I was introduced to Thrive 5.5 years ago. I'm trying to think. August of 17, I joined, or 15, excuse me, I joined. And my why has changed. Carly Wilson and I were just speaking about this the other day. I was in the financial services industry for 20 years. The rug kind of got swept out from under me the end of October, and I lost that job. And since then, have really just dialed back into my business and really enjoying hearing the stories. And this event, making the trip to the event, was unbelievable. So worth it. So many golden nuggets that I obviously don't have in front of me, but was just great to be a part of it and be a part of the family again. Mm-hmm. In a smaller setting was so great. And the fact that it was free. I mean, free. Y'all did that for free.
I know. That's awesome. Well, and I love that whole commit and figure it out. I don't know if you guys noticed, but yesterday our early bird special did end for Thrivepalooza. But guys, you need to go get your Thrivepalooza ticket and then figure out the rest along the way. Like you do not want to, I mean, what we had there is like a mini, I mean, it's like Thrivepalooza is like times 10. Okay. But literally, you know, and figure it out and then grab someone to go with you. Someone just asked if we could drop the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 link. Guess what? It is now in your leader updates. So go log into your cloud and look at leader updates. There's a link there. And then there's also, I put the link again for the 14-day promoter training. So if you're like, okay, I want to start all over today, the link is in your leader updates right there. So you literally can just copy and paste that, but it's in the leader update, so all of you have access to that. Okay, anybody else? I know I'd asked several people to hop on and share, and I know everybody takes away something a little differently. Alma, are you?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey. No, so many things that were said I was going to go over, but I think I just kind of want to touch on just the importance of getting in the rooms. I've been doing this it'll be 5 years next month. And, you know, we quickly went to 200K in 13 months and we fell back. And so we've continued to build, continue to share, and just that feeling. I had so many aha moments in that room. Just being in the room with everybody, the energy, the positivity, and hearing those stories. All of our 200Ks, they have incredible stories. They didn't just magically get to where they are. You know, when Courtney started talking about the fact that she lived in a home in Ohio with 2 heated rooms, and she built her business from her car, that was just like, wow. And so everybody overcomes those things, but I think having those people around you, having those people that are still, you know, that are still in the grind, that are on fire, you know, helping you along this journey, like reach up to your leaders. And I think so many times we try to make it difficult. but it goes back to the simplicity. Just like you said, Mauria, on stage, you're like, just be human. That's how you build your business, just being compassionate and loving and caring and helping people. And just like the girls had mentioned about when you said what motivates you, and several people stood up and they talked about, what motivated them and a little piece of, their story and what it did for them. I was over there wanting to stand up and jump up and down, just like you do in the back of the room when you have something to say, like, hey, I've got something to say. Those are the things, listening to everybody. My life. That's what motivates me. Those people that haven't said yes. Just like one of my closest friends that we were legal assistants together, and we worked together for years, but she just kind of was standoffish about the Thrive experience. But finally, you know what? She's 54 years old, almost 5 years in. She said yes to the Thrive experience. And she actually, for the first time in her life, ever had the self-confidence to stand up for herself. That's what should motivate us, as you start sharing the simplicity. And one more thing, because I could ramble. I didn't have my notes in front of me. I just jotted down some things. Is I see sometimes Thrivers, parts of our team, reach outside of Lavelle for training. Don't do that. Like, our 200Ks, even our 4Ks, those are the people that are doing it. These Zooms are incredible. Just plug into what's going on around here, like you always say. Sometimes I sound like you because you say it so many times that it just sticks. And it's like, stop looking outside of Lavelle for your training, because it's right here. And we have the most, I've never done anything else in network marketing, but we have the best leadership in the industry. And like you, Mauria, you're solid, you're here, you're passionate, you help us every step of the way, you show us the way every single day. So that's just kind of what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, Beth, I know that you're chomping at the bit, so take it. Oh, you're not unmuted if you're talking. That daggone mute button. Beth Stevenson, I cannot hear you, sister. If you are talking, we cannot hear you. I know she's on. Okay, anybody else want to go in? It won't unmute. Okay, hang on. I wonder why. Are you on your phone? Yes. There should be, are you touching your screen? There should just be a button right there. Everyone has the ability to unmute. Anybody have a hint that I give her? Hang on. Well, I'm not on the Zoom. But if you touch your screen, and then there'll be something that says unmute. Here, we'll let somebody else go next.
Hey, Mauria.
Oh, yes.
Hey, this is Shelly. While you're figuring out best, I just wanted to say real quick, will you touch on this? Because we know that you're the absolute best at this, and you're a talker. So that's why it's important that you explain it to everybody. But I wrote down all these little quotes that everybody said, but one of the hugest things was this is my mommy mojo, and pause. This gives me amazing energy and helps with my aches and discomforts, and pause. Will you go into that a little bit for everybody?
Yeah, I thought you were doing a great job. But basically they were kind of asking, when you're at the grocery store or something, what would you say to someone? And it's so important that you don't just throw up on them, but you just give them that, it's my wearable nutrition. Girl, this is what gets me through the day, and then be quiet and let them kind of ask a little bit more. This is my mommy mojo, and be quiet. And then one of the tricks that they showed us that I had no idea, let me see if I can do this now, but over here in Messenger, this is so cool. Well, actually, I can just go to over here in Messenger. So I pulled up Messenger, and then can you guys see how, wait, hang on. So here's a zillion messages, right? But if I go up there and I click on my face, Okay. Then you see my face. And if I click that, that actually becomes, it says my code or scan code. Can y'all see that? So if I'm at the grocery store and somebody's asking me, I'd be like, well, are you on Facebook? Well, let's connect via Messenger. And literally you can just like put your finger, like see how that comes up in a little scan thing? I can scan their face in Messenger, and now I'm connected with them via Messenger. Is that not the coolest thing since sliced bread? I didn't know that. I had no idea. I mean, usually I'll say, are you on Facebook, you know, and then I'm typing in their name and stuff, but that little scan code thing, that's like the coolest thing ever. Anyway, so lots of little nuggets like that too. What else, Shelly, were you thinking?
Sorry, I repaused. I had blocked my blessings on one whole page all by itself because that was important to me, but make them, it was on the FOMO part of it. Hold on. Sorry, a bunch of notes. Make it something they want to be a part of. That was huge for me. Don't just make it about a business. Don't make it about a product. Make it, show them the relationships and show them, make it something they want to be a part of, because we all have FOMO regardless. Every one of us is like, oh, I want that, or, you know, I want to be a part of that.
And that's what's so fun about getting together, you know, with people, with other thrivers, and then sharing that and then inviting them. You know, who wouldn't want a mom's night out, you know? You know, little things like that is it. I mean, all of us are going to admit our community is a big reason why we love this, right? I mean, it's definitely what helps out when you're like, oh, I don't know that I can go on. And then all of a sudden, there you go, you're lifted up.
One last little golden nugget, because everybody's touched on so much of what we all have written down. I think some things were really standing out for all of us. But one of them was said when we were talking about getting them thriving for free and it being our job. I've always felt that, but I just didn't know how to get there. One of the little nuggets that was said was talking about getting them on the phone. Hey, can you do me a favor? My friends don't believe me anymore. Can you just get on and tell just like the things you just text me today when they're really excited and new, and get them sharing without knowing that they're sharing on a call or in a three-way chat.
I love that. I love that. Well, and that whole, you know, referring to, you know, hey, I know you're absolutely loving your thread. Who are 2 people that you could connect me with that could benefit from this? Let's see if we can get this for you for free. So see, you are the one that is, they don't know what they don't know. You have more confidence in this, right? So you've got to share your confidence with them so they can borrow that. Beth, did we ever get it figured out? All right, was there anyone else that wanted to go? Courtney, I hope your heart is full. Thank you so much for putting this weekend on. And I mean, it takes a lot to plan an event of that magnitude. So thank you so much. Was there anyone else that wanted to add any golden nuggets in here? I think one of the main things, and you just interrupt me if you're ready. One of the main things that I saw was, you know, I think sometimes people are afraid to do something, you know, who's going to show up. And one of the most amazing stories was that of Rockstar Rhonda, who I don't even know, and Haas needs to tell the story to you guys tomorrow night, but they had gone to an event and literally one person signed up. I mean, one person showed up to the event. And she is now at 200K. And I mean, literally, like the people that went and they drove, I think it was just the weather conditions were terrible. And like, I mean, you can be doing this, and even your leadership, sometimes we're like, God, is what we're doing, does it matter? Like, did it, you know what I mean? And we can get so caught up on, you know, but there was one person, but guess what? They poured into that one person, and she is now at 200K. She had people on her team in that room that are brand new, that are lighting things on fire. And it was so cool. So, you know, guys, you don't need to have 20 people in a room or 15 people in a room. I mean, the power of one is so big. And, you know, I'll be honest, there was a day where I was like, is anyone jumping on these Zooms? Like attendance was low. I'm like, the size of this this team and I'm going, is this doing anything for people? Is this doing anything? And I got a real quick reminder that it's not about the number that shows up. It's about the people that show up that want this and that will benefit. So every day of the week, y'all, it's about quality over quantity for sure. So I have to remember that. You guys got to remember that. So I feel like, what if no one shows up? Has that happened to anyone? Hello, I think I just answered that one. Yes, it has happened. It has happened. And you know what? It was actually Rhonda hopped onto Zoom last night, and she literally said that they are doing things once a week. Like they're doing team things once a week. And she said, if nobody comes, it's not a thriver, then we'll just meet together and we'll brainstorm and we'll plan out our next week as promoters. You know, it's not, we're on a mission together, right? I mean, most of the people that were with us this weekend were all promoters, and look at the magnitude. I mean, look at the impact that is having on so many. I mean, it's crazy. Just remembering that they signed up to be a customer, not a promoter. Keep that in mind when helping them with their refer to. Absolutely, Dustin. All right, well, I think we're wrapping this up unless anyone else wanted to say anything. Yes, Courtney drove 6 hours a few years back and nobody showed up. It was just us promoters. But I bet you guys had an amazing time. Now, last thing I'm going to say, okay, again, go grab your Thrivepalooza ticket, figure it out along the way, figure out who can go with you and road trip. If you can't afford a flight, I will tell you flights are cheap into Dallas, Fort Worth, DFW Airport, or Love Field, and you have multiple airlines that fly into those airports. They're major airport hubs. Also, be watching for events that are happening across the country, because we will be doing more things like this. But also, look at the Lavelle fan page in the event section, and is there an event that you could maybe go to, or have one in your home? Don't underestimate the power of just getting together in your home. With modern technology, you can always pull in someone else to share their story, your 200K or your 12K or whoever. It doesn't matter the rank. If you have someone that is excited about their story and attaching their name to this company, that's who you want to share. So it's super easy to, with modern technology, to bring them on. And last but not least, don't underestimate the power of just showing up to, grab somebody and go with. I think that's the big thing. We had more than one story of driving 10 hours or driving 12. I mean, I know that's a lot. I know that is. But nobody complained about that. Like the people that made the decision to do that, they had a blast. I mean, they didn't come alone. Don't go alone. Nothing should be done alone, right? Grab somebody to go with you. So anyway, thank you guys so much.
Mauria?
Yeah.
Sorry. There's just one or two things that no one touched on that really spoke to me. Could I speak on that real fast?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the one thing that I've been struggling with lately is just Facebook. I just can't stand it. But after hearing all you guys, I am realizing that I was just doing completely wrong. But one thing that Lisa K. Fuller said was that the 10 points. So 10 messages or 10 reach outs to somebody, and then you can introduce the product or the business aspect of Lavelle. And that just really spoke to me, because so many times I'm just so seeing everyone be so spammy, and I just didn't know how to do that. And in my other company, I was guilty of spamming the heck out of people because I didn't know any better. And so with this company, I try not to do that, but it turned into me not doing hardly anything outside of my real world. So that's one thing that I just loved, is that just, do a point system. And then you, after you have so many points, then you can be like, okay, I did make enough, So it's not just I became your friend to tell you about Thrive.
Yes. And what he's talking about that is, obviously, if it's somebody you talk to on Facebook every day, introduce Thrive to them today. you know, but what he's talking about is the people that maybe he's just became Facebook friends with, or maybe somebody he hadn't talked to in 20 years, but he's, you know, he wants to share Thrive with them. He's going to kind of warm that up a little bit, like kind of find out what's going on in their life. He's going to, you know, comment on some of their posts. He's going to interact with them. And Lisa actually recommended have, you know, about 10 interactions before you say, what the heck, we've been talking all this time. I can't believe I haven't actually asked you about Thrive yet. Do you see my Thrive posts? You know, little things like that. So he's just saying, I mean, obviously, what you never want to do is all of a sudden shoot somebody a friend request and then be like, hey, have you heard about Thrive? No, that would be spammy. And that would be, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't even know why they need Thrive. We need to know why they need Thrive, right? To be able to share it with them authentically. Beth, it says you're unmuted. Go ahead and say something. Say testing 1, 2, 3. We are trying, sister. This is so weird. I have no idea, girl. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for hopping on. Let's make it a great day and go expose some people to the Thrive experience. Thanks again, guys. Thank you all for sharing.